Since the beginning of September, I've been taking a course at Brock that talks about technology in the classroom. At the start of the year, we were given a list of teachers and asked to choose one who would be our virtual associate teacher. What this means is we would follow this person's blog, we'd follow them on Twitter and ask them any questions that came up related to our teaching experiences. The person I chose as my virtual associate teacher is Danika Barker. Danika is an English teacher from London who's been teaching for about 8 years. The reason I wanted Danika as my VAT is because of her blog. I was really blown away with the amount of content on her blog, and especially how her blog is so accessible and fun to read. This is her blog right here. It's a really great resource for teaching ideas and just general inspiration. This is one of the first blog posts that I found. It's called My Advice to New Teachers at the Start of the School Year. It doesn't talk about any sort of theory of teaching. It just gives really general good advice, especially for new teachers. Here's her advice. The first one, be yourself. It's pretty straightforward. The second one, dress up a little bit. The third one, don't do stupid things. That's a good piece of advice for a lot of things. And my favorite one at the bottom, cut yourself some slack. She says, you won't be a perfect teacher in your first class. Actually, you'll never be a perfect teacher. That's okay. That was really great advice, particularly going out on Block 1 when I think everyone was a little bit nervous and intimidated. One of the things we've been hearing a lot about in our tech class is the Unplugged conference that happened this summer. And of course, Danika was involved with that as well. In this particular blog post, this is not that kind of story. She talks about one of her experiences with a former student that I think is a really important message for new teachers to hear. She includes her talk in text form, in the form of a letter on her blog, but I also found this great video online where she talks about her experience in her own words. It's really moving. I'm going to include the link on my blog. It's really worth having a look at. So, in her blog, Danika talks about a wide variety of technology that she's incorporated into her class. Here's the list, which doesn't even include everything. She's Twittered Hamlet with her whole class. She's got her whole class blogging. She's used iGoogle, Google Calendars, Edmodo, Ning, Digo, Prezis, and podcasts. I know the whole bring your own device debate makes a lot of people nervous, but I found one neat clip where she addresses a pretty simple strategy that she uses in class that's for various tech-savvy classes. So here's a quick clip from one of her videos that she's embedded on her blog.
A lot of people also ask about distractions and technology as being a distraction. And I think that this multitasking that students do, whether they do it effectively or not, it's not going away. So I think we need to start teaching them strategies for that. And I also have strategies for dealing with technology in the classroom, just sort of little classroom management things. So when I'm working in a lab, for example, and I need to get the students' attention, they all know that as soon as I ask for their attention, they have to turn their monitors off. And that works really well. And so there are lots of just little tricks like that that you can pick up along the way that will help.
So that's just a really simple strategy, and it seems like it's just all about putting rules, really simple rules in place to allow students to understand how to effectively use their devices in the classroom, and that's something I definitely want to do eventually. I asked Danika once if she started out teaching using all of these technologies right away, because she's incorporated so much of this into her classroom, and I was a little relieved to hear her say that she didn't always incorporate this much technology. She said she was more old school before she started incorporating technology into her lessons. She started with blogging and then started Twittering and worked her way up from there. She said she was particularly inspired hearing from others who were successfully able to use technology in the classroom. And even in her blog, she talks about the importance of teachers using social networks to expand their PLNs and grow their repertoire. So to wrap this up, I highly recommend having a look through Danika's blog. Oh, she's also got a TED Talk on here too, which is worth a listen to. There's Danika, and at the very bottom, here's her TED Talk. I'll add this link to my blog as well. It's a great little TED Talk. And so I just wanted to thank Danika for being a great teaching inspiration and for giving me a ton of fantastic ideas to use as a teacher.